Welcome back to another episode of the Market Makers Podcast, where today we have one of our JV partners, Cam. On this episode, we're going to be covering what went into closing a $53,000 deal, okay? His journey into wholesaling, kind of backstory of his life, how he got into the space, and what he's currently doing, okay? And how you can close deals just like Cam by using Josh and I right here as your JV partners, okay? Now, before we jump into the episode, if you have leads or deals, okay, this is a little disclaimer across the United States, no matter the condition, structure, seller situation, price point, go to jvdeals.org, okay? Just like Cam closed a $53,000 deal right here using our services, jvdeals.org. Cost you nothing. If you can't do anything with the lead, submit it on that website. My team will reach out to you as soon as humanly possible, okay? Now, I want to welcome our guest who currently is in college at the moment, okay, a sophomore in college. And has now done over $100,000 in assignment fees, okay? That is $100,000 while being in college, right? In his first year, and just closed, actually funny enough, on a $53,000 deal. In one deal, right? Most people make that in a year, and he just did it in one deal. So, Cam, welcome.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome. Now, I kind of want to start in just kind of, first tell me, how old are you?
I am 19, turning 20 in March.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Been a crazy ride.
Again, we're young here. We're young.
Except for me.
Except for his uncle over there. How old are you, Josh?
22.
Damn. I'm playing.
So, okay, you're 19, turning 20 shortly. When did you start wholesaling then?
I started about a year ago today.
About a year ago?
Yeah,
today.
you were the one that brought me into it, kind of. I've always wanted to be in real estate, and me and Tyler have been best friends since like kindergarten. Just kind of always, doing the same similar stuff. Always liked the same stuff, and he was wholesaling, making a bunch of money. And I kind of reached out to him and kind of forced him to kind of bring me on the team when it might not have been the best time to. But yeah, I worked for Tyler and Josh for the first like 6 months, and then kind of broke off and have been doing my own thing since. And we still work together and do business together.
Cool.
Still,
yeah, and for you guys that don't know out there, Josh and I are business partners. We do everything together. So
everything.
Shout out Silverstone Capital.
Hell yeah.
Best dispo team in the game. That $53,000 deal would not have closed without them.
We're gonna get into that.
I promise you that.
Okay, so you started wholesaling a year ago, right? But of all things, again, you're 18 years old. You're in college. Why wholesaling? Of all things, okay, I get it. Yeah, maybe I was in it, so a little bit of influence. But like, why wholesaling? Why real estate?
I've always wanted to be in real estate. I mean, if you look at all the millionaires and billionaires, I've always wanted to reach financial freedom. The highest percentage of the, wealthier in real estate, it's the most common industry to be in it. So I've always wanted to be in it. And I kind of just took the opportunity to having, you guys, knowing both of you guys, and you kind of did my own research on it, of course. But I mean, I think the first way or the best way to get into it is just dive in head first into the deep end, which is what I kind of did without knowing as much about the business as I may have should have. And ever since, it's just been amazing. I mean, as wholesalers, you kind of have to know the ins and outs of real estate, what to buy properties at, what investors are looking for, how to talk to sellers, sales, marketing. I mean, you need all these skills, and you just build them. And it's your first step into the entrepreneurship game, and you kind of build off that as you go.
So would you say that the strategy in terms of you jumping into the space was the mentality of let's just jump in, let's fuck around and find out?
Yeah, exactly. Because I've always wanted to be in real estate. This has, it's real estate, but it's more sales and marketing on real estate. So, looking back at it, I'm so glad I did it because, obviously the money, but also the skill set. I mean, if you look at me a year ago, I was over the phone like, hey, John, like I'm a completely different person over the phone now.
Yeah. No,
it's like skill set, obviously wise.
Yeah. And that's true. Cause like what it teaches you is, you just speak over the phone, but you have to pick up on patterns, right? How people speak, what they do when, they say certain things, and maybe they don't mean something. And Josh can attest to this. He's been an agent for longer than even in the game. Right.
Yeah. Sellers are liars and buyers are worse. That's the key thing that you should remember. Sellers are liars and buyers are worse.
Yep.
Even I heard you on the phone today, Cam, with the
Herman.
What happened? Like, what was going on with that? What the hell?
I mean, we had this contract locked up in North Carolina for $205,000. It was already going to be tight, and then like 2 weeks into it, he's just like, "Hey, I spoke to one of my agents, and he's saying properties are going for $300,000 plus, and you don't want to give your property away. She's like, let's just bump it up to 225, like see how it goes. I'm like, we have a legally binding contract, one, but also two, I mean, agents are like notorious. There's a lot of good agents out there, and we have to utilize agents, specifically doing novations, which we can get into. But a lot of agents will just tell these homeowners that their property is worth a lot more than it actually is. I mean, we have it listed for 225 right now, 230, and it's not selling. I mean, we're getting showings and offers, but I mean, the property's not close to being worth 300, and kind of put that thought in his mind. So I think that's where it stemmed from, at least.
Did you ever think you'd be speaking this way? Like a year ago from today, like knowing all the terminology, like hearing your vocabulary, like now you know everything there is to know about.
I know.
wholesaling.
I still have a lot to learn. But yeah, I mean, the best way to learn is taking action. I mean, I wouldn't be here if I didn't take action. I mean, you can always learn and prepare and watch videos, go down that rabbit hole on YouTube or whatever it might be. But once you're actually in the game, talking to these agents over the phones, talking to these sellers, talking to these buyers, you pick up on things that you wouldn't pick up on if you're just watching a YouTube video.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main reason I have grown in my skill set to where I am now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we started in wholesaling a year ago. Did a lot of fucking around finding out, right?
We did.
Yes, getting some help along the way. Through that whole this past year, right? Okay, obviously we've done $100,000 in assignment fees, right, while being
Crazy
in
that you can
college,
speak out loud.
which is amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Through that time, though, it's obviously not easy, and you know that just as well as anybody else, probably anyone watching. What were some of the biggest struggles you had to go through that first year?
Well, the first thing I realized, which, I mean, I was doing it for a couple weeks with you guys, working for you and just kind of learning the business, and I almost quit in the first couple weeks just because, I'm glad I didn't, but I mean, the biggest thing, I didn't think like just because we're 19, we're only competing against 19-year-olds. I didn't have that, but like at the same time, I didn't realize to the extent like I'm in college, but like you're still competing against the market. That doesn't change who else is working. Like I realized very quickly, like I'm going against like 30, 40-year-olds who have a family and kids to provide for. Like I'm in college, like if I'm going to do this, like I can't just, fuck around and, work like an hour a week. Like I got to go all in if I want to achieve the goals I've set for myself. And like, you realize that, I mean, people have a family to provide for. Like you have to work your ass off if you want to achieve something in the business. And that goes for any business, but that was definitely a big learning curve when I was like, you see these family and kids in the business and you're just like, damn.
Yeah, it's
that's my competition.
Of course. Two things that actually, I mean, if anyone out there is looking for any sales jobs or anything, not to promote anything, but silverstonecapital.org, again, come work for us. We're always looking for grinders. But the second thing to that was, and one thing that Josh and I always talk about is we could give two shits about how old you are, right?
100%.
What we care about is, okay, when did you start and at what point did you see success, right? There's the story of, what was it, the KFC owner? It was the KFC owner we were talking about the other day, right? There's two people. The KFC owner, who I believe he started the franchise around 40, 45 years old.
Okay.
And in a matter of 5-10 years, don't quote me on this, okay, he ended up becoming a billionaire. Now, is it that because a 45-year-old ended up making $1 billion in 5 years versus a 17-year-old that made $500,000 in 5 years, who's more successful? The 17-year-old because he just was young on paper? Or is it the dude who's had 5 years in the business and did quadruple what he did? We look at the time you've been in the business, whether you're 2 years old or 100 years old. I think they kind of attest to kind of what you were saying earlier.
And I want to test to, I mean, I don't think I'd be here today if I didn't work for you guys. I mean, if you're a wholesaler looking to get into the game, I would recommend working for a company that has the SOPs, has the systems and processes set up. They can guide you through the whole process. I mean, I was like their first acquisition rep. So I was very close to them. So it was kind of beneficial to me in a sense where like I didn't just do one part of the job, but I was kind of like, I was working for you guys, but I was also like almost like a partner in a sense, just because we were all figuring it out together. I got to see the ins and outs of everything and how you guys thought as, running a company, and just kind of learned the process and didn't have to make the mistakes you guys made.
Yeah. And for
so
anyone
it sped
out
up the
there,
process.
And anyone out there as well too, like, I mean, most people always ask, like, what's the best way to get into wholesaling? How do I get into real estate, right? The best way that most people end up doing, just like Cam, is like, find someone like Josh and I, who already have a company and it's proven to work, that can get you leads and provide everything for you. So you focus on the skill set. Okay. Like if you're looking to get into this space, right, hit us up, right? Just be like Cam, because you can spend 1-2 years as a rep, whether it's an acquisition rep, dispo rep, whatever you tend to fall into naturally, learn the skills, get some money in your pocket, and then eventually jump into it, right? So many people, they want to just jump into it and fuck around and find out, which is not bad. Don't get me wrong. But there's other ways to do it that could be more beneficial to you. So great point on that.
Just for a story, so like not like a story, but to the point of working for somebody who already has what you have. For instance, when I became an agent at 18, I didn't join a team or anything of that nature. I just went out there and figured everything out myself, which means that I failed and made a lot of mistakes that I could have avoided by just going under somebody that already knew everything, right? So now taking Cam into account, Cam could have easily went through the whole entire process by himself, figured out, okay, maybe I do need a lead manager, or maybe I do need help. Maybe I don't know where to get leads from. But instead, he worked for some people who already had everything established. So all he had to do was just sit there and actually just show up. Yeah, so literally. You want to make it as easy as possible. Put your ego to the side. Do not try to be a tough guy. I get it. We're young and we want to see, like, we believe we can conquer the world. We're invincible. Nobody can tell us nothing. But that will get you killed out here because there's people like Cam who don't have an ego and are starting at the same time you're starting, but are excelling at a much faster rate because they were humble enough to do so. And then by the time they start their own thing, they're levels above you. Yeah, so just put your ego to the side, work for somebody that already knows what's going on, absorb everything, and make sure when you break away, of course, you do it the right way, like Cam, and watch how the money just follows.
It's a great point. Just to add on that too, I mean, just starting off, you literally just have to, again, like Josh said, take your ego out of it, just become a sponge of info. And then once you learn that info, you know, any person you talk to, I don't care who they are, try to learn something from them. And then the biggest point to obviously go off on top of that is you have to start implementing that. If you just learn stuff and you don't actually implement it or try new things, what's the point of learning the info? So you just have to become a sponge, take your ego out of it, and just like have like a burning desire to just learn and learn and learn as much as you can. And that just kind of speeds up the process.
Of course. No, I like that. And kind of touching on, again, what we were just talking about right there, if someone's in a similar situation as you, whether they're in college, just graduated high school, right? I mean, to the point that you're at now, right? You've done a lot. You've gone through a lot, trial and error, and you found something that works, right? Someone like you, sophomore in college, and they want to get into the space. If there was one thing you could tell them, what would that be?
That's a good question. If I was one thing to tell a person in my position starting in college,
like for example, we were just speaking, and right, one of the things that we were talking about was like, you know, going under the wing of someone to like learn from their mistakes. So you don't mess it up their time, but everything's different, right?
Yeah, I would say get a mentor, get with people that are where you want to be or like-minded people. You have to have that group of around you. Like you got to be hanging out with people, spending time with people, because it does affect you and your mind and everything you do is the people around you. But I would say the biggest thing would just be like take action. Like whatever you do, you're gonna mess up. It's not like when you're gonna fall flat in your face. It's just when and how many times and how can you handle it. So like don't go into the business thinking that you're not going to fail. You got to embrace the failure and just turn that into wins. So I would just say take action. Whatever you do, just like do something and just, you know, because you're not going to go from point A to point B without taking action. So you're going to mess up, but you got to take that first step. And then I think, you know, it just kind of, the path builds itself out from there. I don't know what's going to hold for me in 5 years, but I'm going to keep taking action and see where we end up.
The imperfect action over the perfect plan. Yeah. I get it 100%. Okay. Now I want to get into the good stuff, okay? Because I know I said it in the very beginning, but a $53,000 deal, one deal, okay?
Just picked up that check this morning.
This isn't like, oh, in a year, whatever. Like, this is one deal, okay?
Holy.
The total was exactly $53,020 or something and some change, okay? Now, that's the headline. But I actually want to go into, like, exactly, like, how this came about. Like, for someone listening, right, $53,000 deal, where did this start from, right? Even when we got the lead, how did we get it locked up? How did we sell? Which is a big part of Josh, and he'll explain everything as a whole. The funny story. But I want to
now.
Ups and downs, like the entire dispo process, which is just insane. Yeah, I needed you guys on that, to be honest.
I want to start though. Where did the lead come from?
Yeah.
Right? Like it starts with all marketing. Where did that lead come from?
So when you're starting out, obviously you got to keep your expenses as low as humanly possible. I started out, I had a business partner in the past when I first started it, and we were just driving for dollars, going to different neighborhoods, looking at ugly houses and just writing those addresses down, skip tracing them, calling them, and that's going to be the most brutal. It's free. You have to do it, but I mean, you just get so many people like, fuck you, why are you calling me? Like, I've gotten 20 calls in the last, like, so this lead that we came for the $53,000 deal was cold callers, VAs that we have cold calling in the Philippines or Egypt, they just call lists for you, and then you're only talking to people that are actually shown interest in selling. So this Melvin guy, wow, I mean, he was quite a seller, but no.
Well, expand. What was the seller's situation?
Yeah, so I mean, he lived near the property. This was in West Humboldt Park, I believe, right?
Okay.
And he really just wanted to get rid of this place. He didn't want to deal with it. The tenants weren't paying that much, and he just wanted to like be done with the property, not have to maintenance it or anything. And on the acquisition side, it was actually a pretty easy deal. Like I talked to him, locked him up in the first like 3 days, and then I was just sitting there like pondering on like this seller and how I'm gonna get this to close. And I'm like, dude, what? Like, there's tenants in there. We have to sell it tenant occupied. Like, there's all these different problems and issues, which it's very hard, and you're not gonna get as bad of a price if it's not vacant at close. If you have to sell it with tenants in there, and I mean, those tenants were paying like a quarter of the rent. Nobody wants to take that. So I was just sitting there and like, what do I do? Because it's that deal's hard to sell, even though we had it at the right price. So then I called you guys up. I called Josh up. I'm like, bro, do you have an agent in the area? He's like, yeah, send me the deal. We go over it. He's like, we're working together on this. I'm like, I mean, I was gonna ask him anyway, but he kind of like told me, and I was like, all right, let's do it. So I was like, I mean, he knew all the agents and things in that area. You guys worked in Chicago a bunch, so the dispo side was definitely the hardest part of this. The acquisition side. I mean, I'm not gonna make up a story and told me it took me a month to lock it up. I mean, I got it locked up in like a couple of days from when the lead came in, and then was like, hey, we split this. You just take care of all the dispo work. I didn't have to like think or do any work on the dispo, and you guys took care of it, and then we all share the wealth.
I remember when you called me, I was like, okay, like this seems like I'm underwriting the deal.
But we thought it was a crazy deal to begin with, bro.
We knew about it.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, bro. And then this is when you called, and I was like, okay. I sent the agent out there like same day. I sent him out there. He got a photo of the exterior. Agent ran his numbers. And remember when I gave you a call later on that night? Dude. I was like, Cam, okay, do not react. Do not freak out, please. But we may be able to go ahead and list this for like $450.
Mind you, we had this locked up for $200.
Yeah.
$200,000. And then Melvin kept telling me, he's like, man, the property's worth $400. Like, it's worth $400. I just want to walk away with $50,000. And I'm like, dude, this dude's lying. Like, it's not actually worth $400,000. And then you guys are like, we're gonna start the list at $399. I'm like, holy shit. But then we ran into more problems, obviously.
We thought it was gonna be that. And then once we listed it with just the exterior photos, that's all we had. We finally got access from the tenants, which was hard enough because this guy didn't answer his phone.
Oh my god!
Looking back at it, I don't know how the hell you got that deal under contract. Like, I don't know what type of shit you were on, but like, however you locked that guy up, I don't think nobody ever could have done that now, knowing what I now know. He didn't answer his phone.
Like 1 in 100 times.
He only answers his phone from between 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. After that, if you can't catch him, he's gone.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, he didn't answer his phone. So finally, when we did get access to the property, which like literally took 2 weeks, he kept pushing us off.
Yeah.
We had the showings with the tenant. We walk inside of there. I hear like dogs barking. I'm like, no. And I hear like little puppies. I'm like, no. Walk in. We go downstairs to the bottom unit. Just a total shit show. Just like hoarder, chips everywhere.
You went out there the first time with the agent?
Yeah, I went out there first. And the agent didn't even go the first time. Yeah, I was like, I'll go, just knock it out the way myself. Because the agent's like, oh, I got stuff to do. I'm like, all right, I'll go. First floor was messed up. Second floor had, like, they were breeding, like, dogs and stuff like that. So that was done.
Jeez.
And the third floor, the lady was just, like, not there. So the first showing we went in there, the property was fucked. There was, like, shit ripped out of the walls, like, drywall. Like, the bathroom was, like, you could see the piping. I'm like, how is somebody living like this? So comes back, and then we ended up selling the deal for like what? We got it under contract for like $280.
The main, I'll let you continue, but the main thing with this deal is you needed boots on ground. Like, we're virtual, we're all virtual nationwide. So usually, you just get someone else, an agent, to do it. Like this deal, we needed, like, dude, Josh was like driving the seller around. He was drunk like
Oh
on
my
a random
God.
Tuesday, and Josh's like, yo, get in the car, we're driving here. He's like driving him from property to property. Like, this deal would not have closed if
Dude,
we didn't live in
sucked.
Chicago. Like,
Yeah.
so
It was funny how like to picking him up, he literally almost backed out the first time. Remember he called you, or it was me, it was somebody. He called
Yeah.
one of us and was like, I'm not selling, I'm not moving forward. I feel like you guys just scammed me. I don't even know if you guys are real. So that's when I was like, yeah, what's your address? Like, I'll show you. I was like, yo, Melvin, I will tell you that we're real. Cam is a good guy. I know him. He's speaking facts. Like, no, I don't even bring Cam here. I'm like, Cam's in Iowa.
yeah,
In his college dorm right now.
Yeah.
He's not coming here.
yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'll come meet you, Melvin. You know, brother to brother. Pulled up, met him, and was like, okay, this is going to be a long ride. Like, the minute I seen this
Yeah,
guy, I was
bro.
like, all right, this is going to be hell.
Well, so obviously, okay, this is a crazy deal, but like taking it back to like it took you 3 days to lock him up, okay? But
Correct.
on that day that you locked him up, I mean, when did you realize, or not even when did you realize, but what made you realize, oh fuck, I gotta, I need someone else to help me with this? Like, what made you think to JV it? Like, what point were you like, okay, I need to JV this deal?
I think there was two main reasons. One was that Melvin was like damn near impossible to get a hold of, which I mean, JVing with someone else doesn't necessarily like help you with that, but you don't have to deal with that
Yeah.
in a sense. And then two, just it was tenant occupied, and I know they were paying like a quarter of the rent of market. No buyer's gonna want to deal with that whole eviction process in Chicago. Those evictions get pricey. So I was like, this is just gonna be a tough deal to sell. And I remember running the numbers with you before I locked it up. And Tyler was like, yeah, I think you can like probably list it on the market for like 230, 240. So I was like thinking this wasn't even a crazy deal. And then I called Josh, was like, bro, Tyler thinks it's like 230, 240 list. But I'm like, dude, we can definitely list it for like 300. And then Josh ran the numbers. He's like, bro, you got a deal, bro. And I'm like, all right, bet, let's JV on this thing. I'm like, I didn't want to deal with that whole process because I knew it was going to be a headache. And I know you guys had the systems, processes, people set up. I mean, you guys have like a whole team working on dispo. So, I mean, it's definitely going to move faster and sell. I don't think I would have sold that myself.
Yeah, no, of course.
Really don't.
Um,
JV with Silverstone Capital.
Look, and that goes for anything, right? Okay, again, right? That's a very one-off situation. It's common, but it's a very one-off situation. But yes, that was in Chicago where we're located, but it's like anywhere, right? And it's kind of the power as like what Cam was saying, right? Property, tenant occupied, breeding dogs. Half of them aren't even answering. Like all this odds are stacked against us. The only reason we were able to sell it, just truthfully, I think Cam would attest to this as well as Josh, was because we novated it. We do novations, right? And that's the power of the JV process with us, okay? And this isn't a pitch, but it's like all we do is novations, right? And kind of as Cam's structure as well, part of the reason he's able to get $100,000 while being in college, and tell me if I'm wrong, is all of his deals are novations, right? He's a product of us,
100%.
and all he does is novations, which is why he sees that fast success, okay? So again, it's kind of just one of those things that just reinforces the decision. If you don't know how to do novations yet, you're simply losing out on money by not learning. Okay?
You are. Oh my God.
100%.
You are. Oh my God. And also attest to that, dude, Silverstone's Capital Novation script is filthy, bro. Like, genuinely, your script is so filthy, bro.
Which that's for free, by the way.
Oh
okay?
my
That's for
God,
free.
bro. I had like a wholesale like script that I was working with. If you're doing mainly wholesales, like use your own, but like, dude, your Novation specific script. I mean, my contracts on novations, like sellers are begging me to do the novation.
Yeah.
Like you have to phrase it in that way.
There's no
we
other
actually give
reason
one
they
of
should
two
say no.
offers.
They should say no.
You're
Like-
about to go into the
Yeah, we actually give one of two offers. No, but like, dude, that's like the script has helped me lock up like
Good.
contracts, novations, like
Good.
insane.
Yeah,
Anyone
awesome.
should be using that if
Yeah.
you do novations.
Which, if you guys do want to get that, I'll leave it linked down below. It's completely for free. Okay, that doesn't charge anything. But again, I kind of want to touch on the actual numbers, right? Okay, you hear 53,000, all this crazy stuff. Like, what are the actual numbers, right? That's all we care about. From looking at it in the HUD statement, these are the exact numbers. Okay, we had it for 200,000. Okay, Cam got elected for 200,000. The end total price that we ended up selling it for on the market with the novation was $283,000. Okay, now typical novation formula, times it by 93% or 90%. In this case, there was about $10,000 worth of concessions, give or take, with a few, attorney fees, all this good stuff, right? So we did 93%. What does this account for? 3% seller commission, okay? 3% buyer agent commission, and 1% title fee. 7%, you get 93. After that, it's $263,190. Now, minus the $10,000 in concessions, that's $253,190. Cam got it locked up for $200,000. That's $53,000 in his pocket. Okay, so that is the math right there. Now I want you to ask yourself, that's listed on the market. Imagine if you had to wholesale this, tenant occupied, dogs breeding all up in the home, water meters, all who knows where it is.
Oh my!
All this crazy stuff, and he's gonna.
Oh
touch
my
on this
God,
in a
the
second.
water meter.
I forgot about the
Right?
water meter,
Like
bro.
when you're wholesaling, it's limited. Okay, but because we novated it with Cam, okay,
bro.
every single person all over Chicago and Illinois, even out of state, saw this property and could find ways to make work with it. That is the power right there. Okay, that is the power right there. Now, again, I want to make sure we keep moving, and I want to get into stuff that like actually you guys can start applying and take lessons from what Cam's learned, right? Because it's relatable, right? He's in college, right? I mean, it's not like he's doing anything crazy. His parents didn't give him $100,000 and say, go make a business.
I wish,
it's all on
bro.
his own, right? So I kind of want to touch on like some of the tactics and processes and things that you use specifically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of an overview one is if someone wanted to get their first deal, okay, they're like, okay, I'm in college, whatever year you're in, and you're like, I know I want to get into wholesaling and I want to get my first deal, but I just don't know where to fucking start. What would you tell them?
To get their first deal, again, get a mentor, get people around you. You're going to have to go through the rabbit hole of YouTube and just learning much about the business.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, you're going to get like bits and pieces of what you have to do. And that's all you need. Just then once you have like a kind of a direction, just take action, whether that be driving for dollars, whether that be if you have money to put into VAs. I mean, just take some sort of action. You can do this whole for free. You can have zero marketing spend, which we had for the first like 3 months. Now, if you want to scale, obviously you're gonna have to put more money into marketing and have an overhead. But I mean, to start out, I would literally just do everything for free, drive for dollars, listen to, podcasts like this, YouTube videos, get a mentor, work for someone. I really think working for someone might be the best way to get into it.
Yeah, 100%.
Just because then you pretty much know. I mean, when I started my own business, I had like a full like idea of start to finish what an Novation business looks like, the culture of a business, how you have to build it. So it was a lot easier for me when I did start my own business. So yeah, and then also you just have to be a dog over the phones. You got to be a killer. I think all three of us are pretty good at sales on the phone.
And I do want to get into that because again, right, your specialty is the acquisition side, and I do want to get into some of those tactics shortly.
Acquisition specialist.
But from what I take it then, and correct me if I'm wrong, the main things that if someone wanted to get their first deal in college or just starting out is do as many free things as humanly possible, like YouTube University, absorbing all the free resources,
of course,
and just putting together some sort of action, no matter how stupid or how crazy it sounds, to just start getting ideas and start embracing on them. Correct?
100%.
Got it. Awesome. Okay. Now,
let's get into some sales tactics too.
You want to get into them right now?
I want to, whenever it's ready. I had a thought pop in my mind. I was like,
let's just loading.
Let's talk about
off script
sales,
here.
okay?
Off script.
For you guys out there, okay, and maybe some of you that are just starting, maybe you guys don't know yet, but I do want to give you just some actual metrics so you know as to what scale Cam is locking up these contracts, okay? For every about 17 to 25 leads Cam gets, and again, these are coming from cold call leads, okay? These are not PPC, anything like that, cold call leads, right? He's locking up one contract. Now, for reference, okay, the industry standard for cold call leads to lock up one contract is 40 to 70 leads. So Cam is doing about half of that, meaning for every 17 to 25 he gets one contract locked up. So it's pretty safe to say he knows a thing or two about some sales, right? Now, I don't want to sit here and just ask you what's the best sales advice.
Yeah.
Kind of, enlighten me a little bit. Like, what are some of the tactics you use and what is your sales process, I guess I should say? I mean,
I would say the biggest advice or one of the main things I learned is you have to mirror the seller. That builds trust, it builds rapport. They have to trust you, they have to like you. You have to talk to them like you're their best friend. Like a sales guy doesn't sound like a sales guy. It sounds like your best friend. You can't make it up sometimes. I'll call a seller and I'll be like, hey, John. He'll be like, hey, what's good, man? It's like from like just a random property. I'm like, hey, what's up, brother? How you doing? Like I'll change up. If it's an old lady, I'm like, hey, is this, Mrs. Betty? And she's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, hey, Mrs. Betty, how you like? You got to like mirror the seller, build trust, talk to them like you're their best friend. And then obviously follow a script, put your own personality to it. But I would say the biggest advice, talk to them like you've been friends for 10 years.
Yeah, I love that.
You have to build trust with them.
Yep.
I've had people like sellers, like they've gotten $10,000 to $20,000 more on an offer and they still go with me because they're like, I trust you more.
Yep.
Like, I trust you guys. I trust your process. I like you. I want to do business with you.
Yep.
And if all those things are true, you're like, your chances of getting the deal are skyrocket.
100%. And I want to ask you this question because it ties into exactly what you just said right there. What's your main exit strategy?
Novations.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you let me know what you think. Do you think that because your main exit strategy is novations, it's transparent, the seller gets a higher offer, okay, and they have a flexible time frame, that it allows for them that when you're transparent, they trust you more, and that's where maybe you offer 50,000, someone else gave them 70, but they still go with you.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Be honest with them. Be upfront with them. You always say this, set expectations. If you set the proper expectations, all your deals are going to go so much smoother. If you're like leaving out certain parts, or you're not setting the correct expectations and you promise the best, like, and then, you know, obviously you can't deliver on the best always, it's a lot more deals are going to fall through. So set the proper expectations, and part of that is just being in the business, like knowing what these deals look like. And once you have that, you can be like, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is our process. I always tell sellers, I'm like, I can't tell you whether to sell your home or not. I can't tell you what to sell your home for. All I can tell you is what our process looks like, what we can offer you, and how this is going to look for you.
Yeah.
And I'd love to do business with you. I'd love to work with you and make sure you're taken care of. But at the same time, I'm not going to tell you to sell it at a certain price. I'm just going to tell you what we can do for you.
You're there to guide them, right?
Exactly.
And the best thing that I've actually like found, and that I tell a lot of the my acquisition reps and anyone that's in sales, is like, you kind of have to think of yourself as a doctor. Okay. You are not there to convince them. You're there to diagnose the seller, right? Just like Cam was saying, you guide them through the process. You don't, oh, you need to sell. It's no, if you want to sell, hey, this is how we're going to help you. Okay. Now, from what I take it, it's mirroring, setting expectations, and novations are the main three that in your sales process.
Correct.
Would you say that's correct?
And just talk to them like you're their best friend.
Yeah.
That's helped me a lot.
Awesome. How would you say then, because obviously, right, again, we've been in the business for about a year or so. I mean, I also want to ask Josh this as well, because he's very good over the phone. But how did you become good at sales? Because it's not something you can just watch a video and become good overnight. What are some things you did to become good?
I was terrible at sales for the first like 3 months, and everyone's going to be if you get into it. I mean, I started out cold calling. I remember you guys gave me like a government list one time, and I was just dialing like
testing phase,
like 100 dials a day, and like probably 90 of them would be like, "Fuck you, get off my phone," like, because you're going to government list. There's not, it's not like they've shown interest. But like getting comfortable over the phone is the first step, and then just like massive imperfect action. I mean, you just have to be on the phone as much as possible. You're not gonna be good over the phone if you don't get on the phone. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to take, you know, I know you guys have training that I kind of went through, which, you know, shout out that, but you know, you just gotta perfect your game. I mean, you take a weekend off on the Monday that, you know, you go 2-3 days without being on the phone or on a sales call. That first Monday, you're going to be a little cold. Like sales is like a constant. You have to constantly be on the phone. Otherwise you get a little shaky.
Yeah. What would you say?
Yeah. Josh is a killer over the phone.
This is Uncle over here. He's been in the business.
Yeah. He's been, what is it, 10 years now?
I'd say it's being able to align yourself with who's across the table. That's like one of the biggest things that's helped me with sales. And how I got great at that is I would just read a lot on like human psychology and like how to win people over and like how to really come across as somebody that's charismatic and people want to do business with. I don't believe people give a damn about the real estate contract. They don't care about the process. They don't care about any of that stuff. What they care about is who is doing it, right? So you could have the absolute best process for novations, or the absolute best pitch for them, or even give them the absolute best price that you want. But if the person doesn't like you, they're not going to do business with you. People do business with people who they know, they like, and they trust. That has been a fact since the beginning of time, and it will be a fact since the end of time. So the moment I understood that is the moment when I didn't really care for the fancy scripts or the fancy sales tactics. I mean, I still do them, but what I cared more about is how do I become somebody that others know, like, and want to do business with? And that's by becoming somebody who understands the process better than anybody else, and somebody who understands that in order for me to get what I want, I have to get this person what they want. And doing everything that I can to get this person what they want will help me get what I want, which means that I'm going to win every time, right? Now, In order to get good at that skill, you're going to have to put in the reps. That is a non-negotiable. When I first started in this business, even Tyler, right? We always joke about how many calls and how much bullshit we had to go through to lock up our first deal. I got a list of probates. It was 4,000 leads of fresh probate people. The first time I ever hopped on the phone to cold call, people were crying because they said, how could you call me? So-and-so just died. You're a vulture. That was the first cold call I had. And I remember putting down the phone and being like, man, I feel like a piece of shit. And then I picked the phone back up because I realized, well, somebody's going to do it. And the best person to do it and help this person out of their situation is going to be me. Because I'm the most likable, I'm the most trustable, and I'm the best person to do business with. So it's all about having that sharp killer mindset of knowing that if you don't lock this person up, somebody else will. And then that somebody else that will mess it up. And then they'll come back to you to fix it. But it was your fault for not locking them up in the first place and making them go through that because you lacked on skill set. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you get good at sales by being a good person and then just by understanding your process better than anybody else. And I guarantee the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, I like that. And I do want to touch on to, as obviously I said previously, Josh and I are business partners. But Josh's his main strength is the dispo process, especially for novations. It's very tricky. Kind of break down like our novation process, right? Like, okay, we helped Cam, yes, but we also help millions of other people as well, all over the nation with novations. Kind of like break down for them how our novation process works on the dispo end, where we can literally sell deals anywhere, no matter the condition, area, or price point.
We'll go ahead and we'll see, what needs to be done to the property. We used to do it where we just list it immediately. Like, okay, 48 hours from deal in to list it.
That's what I do.
Yeah. You're probably going to change that after hearing this, right?
Yeah.
Upon doing that, we realized that it actually hurt us more than it helped us. Because upon listing it as soon as possible, you have a sloppy listing. You don't have professional photos. Your listing remarks, like he was telling me last night at dinner, was 2 sentences, right? How's that going to sell a property? And then just overall, the access and everything is just all over the place. You want to give it at least 5 to 7 days of great preparation from deal in to listed to make sure that you've done everything you can to put that listing out there at the best way possible. Because you only get one shot at listing a property. Once you put it on the market, it now has a history. So even if you take it off and put it back on, it'll always show the amount of days that it's been on there. Forever until you sell it and start the process anew with the next people that touch the property, right? So with that being said, you only have one shot. So we take that listing process, that underwrite to listing process, very serious, and we go through a lot. That's one thing that is super important, I'd say, Cam, is you're gonna have to stay on everybody.
Oh my God.
It's not just like assigning the deal and you're done. You have to stay on the title reps because the title people work in 1 day. Here at Silverstone Capital, our file is getting touched all day long because we're on top of these people and we know their process. So that's a big thing as well. And how we're able to actually hit our conversion cycle and get these deals closed sooner is because we know how the back end process, which most people forget, which is the title process, the transaction coordinating process. People let deals fall through the cracks all the time. But we have that so honed in that we close the deals without fail.
I also want to add off on the underwriting, which I think could bring some value, is like specifically on the novations, look at the comps. Obviously, those are going to give you the best idea, but obviously you guys can attest this as well. You have to look at the market as well. Some markets change, day to day, area to area. Look at like the average days on market for a property. Look at the absorption rate, you always say.
Yeah.
Because in Texas, first, just to put it out there, Texas is a very slow market. Like, even if you're at the right price, expect that to sit longer than somewhere in like North Carolina, like Charlotte. Like, you have to be looking at that and take that into account with your seller as well. Because then you could set the proper expectations like, hey, this is going to take a little bit longer. However, we're able to get you a better price if it does.
Yeah,
that's really smart.
Of course. And okay, I kind of want to get back. Again, I want to kind of go into the process.
Just broke down the entire process for it, bro.
Yeah, I think I should cut that out.
We should cut
that out. We should cut that. I don't think I should give them all that. Tyler, are you mad at me for giving them all that?
It's they'll get it one way or another. JVDeals.org. Okay. Yeah. Okay, but I want to go back to, because again, right, it's very relatable where you're at right now, right? Like, everyone always likes to come up with some sort of excuse in their head, like, oh, well, because of this, Y, and Z, that's why he did it, right? No, like you're in college. Like you're not like not in college only focusing on this. Like you're going to classes, you're taking tests, you're doing homework.
Got my license too.
You're in a frat. Like
Oh, you got your real estate license.
Exactly.
Yeah, bro.
Yo, congratulations,
Thank
bro.
you, bro. I didn't apply for it yet, but I like it was like a whole like 100-hour course. I'm like doing that, school and the business. I finally get it. I'm like, I call Tyler just like, bro, it's got my license.
You know what's
And then I'm
funny?
like, bro, should I apply? And they're like, dude, it's like $2,000 to like for fees. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh.
By the way, you
And then I
know
just was
more.
gonna wait.
You know more, and you're making more.
I'm so
than
glad I
every
got it.
agent.
I'm so
When
glad I
agents
got
get
it.
their license, they think, "Oh, I'm successful." Motherfucker, you ain't successful. You just
Bro.
you just passed your exam. You don't know how to generate leads.
No,
you don't know how to lock up clients, set listing appointments. You don't know how to even sell the deals. You don't know how to transaction coordinate. You don't know how to manage a business, how to run a CRM. You just gave 100 hours of your life and $2,000 just to not know shit.
But I do think it does provide a lot of like, if you pass the test, you have to learn a certain amount about real estate. And I think I'm glad I got it just because,
Yeah.
I mean, you do learn a lot about lending, properties, different laws. So, I mean, it does help you. It's going to come in handy at some point.
Yeah,
Of course.
And you know about it because you understood the lingo because you did it. That was like one of the main things is you did real estate. So when you were doing the exam and
No,
seeing all the
100%.
terminologies, you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then
I
didn't
know
just learn it, but actually implement it into the business.
Yeah, it's tough.
If you learn, but you don't take action, you didn't learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, again, I want to focus on your process, right? In a lot of things, because again, I do think that you separate yourself from a lot of the people. In your life, right? Because I'm a big believer, and I'm sure as a lot of people are, how you do anything is how you do everything, right? Yeah. Your success, yes, it stemmed from you putting in consistent hours and consistent work. What are some values in your life that you live by that set that tone for your work life?
It's a very good question, Tyler. Yeah, I mean, I think if you get into the game of entrepreneurship, like everything, every deal, every problem, everything falls on you. So you just have to take full accountability of that, and you just have to like develop personally in every area of your life. I mean, anything goes wrong, it falls on you. You have to be the leader for your team. You have people hiring you. You want to have the proper culture. You want your teams to be killers. They're going to look up to you. You have to just like get better, wake up every day and just like, you know what I'm saying? Just like personally develop, which I think entrepreneurship and the market tells you if you don't. I mean, like it's going to tell you right away if you suck at something.
Yeah.
Your marketing sucks. Boom. You make no money. Business fails. You suck at sales. Boom. Business fails. Like it forces you to get better in every area you need to get better in. And then you just also have to like, I think it's a big form of personal development. I mean, you just got to like wake up and just like, got to be that dude, bro. You got to like, it sounds corny, but you got to like, you know what I'm saying? You just got to get better.
But the thing with that though is, I mean, especially with wholesaling, right? I mean, most people, if you don't know by now, it is not a very get rich quick thing, right? Long term, can you make a lot of money and be successful? Of course, but it takes time. When you're early on, as most viewers are probably are, right? You're very early on. You're saying, right, yes, okay, we have these values and always keep pushing. But how do you stay positive? Like when you make 1 billion dials and everyone's telling you to fuck off, you get a deal locked up, first 10 contracts get voided.
Yeah.
How do you keep going?
I think everyone has to clearly define their goal and set a goal. A lot of people don't set goals, but also define your why. Like, why are you going to get up every single morning and put yourself through it? I mean, it's a lot of bullshit. It's a lot of suffering. You're going to fail, fall on your face thousands of times. So figure out your goal and your why. But also, I think people have it wrong, where I kind of always go back to this when I am feeling bad. I'm like, you have to like, a lot of people are like, once I get that $1 million, I'll feel rich, or I'll feel happy, or I'll feel successful. You have to feel successful. You have to feel rich. You have to become and adopt these traits of a person that can attract $1 million before you ever see that $1 million. So you have to kind of like reprogram your brain and how you are, and just like adopt traits before you even like see that type of money, because you have to be the person that's gonna actually execute on that. But yeah, I mean, I think if you are positive and feel good and your thoughts are positive, Kevin Trudeau, your wish is your command. I mean, that podcast is amazing, but yeah, I mean, you have to be like, be that dude that's always in a good mood. Be that dude that's always positive. Be that dude that's like, your inner dialogue should always be positive, because that's who you are. That's who you are. Your inner dialogue is so important. Mental game is important. So just stay positive, keep going. Yeah.
Of course. And again, right, kind of in the statistical standpoint, yes, I am analytical, so I keep bringing up all these numbers. But
big numbers over here, bro.
so okay, we've been in business for a year now. Okay, we've done about $100,000, maybe a little bit more, but 100,000 to make it even. As your income level has continued to rise over the past year, have you noticed any changes in your life?
In what way?
I mean, it can be in anything. It can be in like the way you approach things, right? Like maybe.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Of course. In terms of me personally, yes, the money has changed, but I think like me changing has like been the reason why the money's changed. I mean, I was just thinking about this like a couple of days ago. Like, I mean, if you look at me like a year ago, like, dude, I was getting up at like noon every day, like staying up super late, like just doing a bunch of nothing all day. Like, I think I've grown and my skill set has grown, which has led to the money. I think that comes before the money comes. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's pretty much the reason.
You started, so to get those instances where you continue to keep leveling up, it wasn't
I have
just
to
like
level up.
Oh, maybe lock in more contracts to level up. It was like, no, you got to level up your daily life. And contracts are a byproduct of that.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you
put in the work.
The money didn't change me. I changed to make the money.
It's a bar.
That's a bar.
That's a bar.
That's tough.
That is.
You are never going to outperform your self-image. So if you're like that type of person that like can't see yourself holding $1 million or making $1 million, you can't see yourself doing any of this stuff, and your inner dialogue just like, oh, I'm a loser, I'm broke, I'm just, I can't do anything. Like you're not gonna outperform that. It's not $1 million not gonna fall from the sky. You have to like again reprogram your like who you are as a person, adopt these traits of who you want to become, because it's not just get rich, it's you have to become the person that is rich.
Yeah. I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to expand a little bit because it's going to sound a little weird at first, but the question is like, what makes you different than everyone else? And what I'm going to expand on is there's
like
plenty of other college kids wholesaling, right? I mean, I speak with billions of them every single day, right? All these kids are wholesaling or they're trying to wholesale, yet you're actually in college, you are wholesaling, but you're making a substantial amount of money. What is it about you specifically that makes that different than everyone else?
See, I don't think there's anything different about me, you guys. I mean, you guys, to give you credit, I mean, raised my belief, because I'm looking at you guys making a bunch of money like a year ago, and I'm like, these two dumbasses are making all this money. No, but like there was nothing different about you guys. You're not like royal blood, like, you know what I'm saying? Just two regular kids that grew up the same kind of child I did. So, I mean, I think the biggest thing is you just have to like work your ass off and like tell yourself from the beginning, like, I think if I could give one trait to anyone getting in entrepreneurship or any, setting goals and achieving goals, is just like, you have to tell yourself and like imprint it into your subconscious, like, I am unstoppable. What I mean by that is like, nothing, no experience that happens is going to stop you from achieving your goals. I will keep going until I achieve it. That's it, period.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's just, we've all worked our fucking ass off and we're making those dials when people aren't. Yeah. We're getting better. Systems are set up. I mean, we've just flat out. I mean, we put in the work and other people haven't. I mean, what's this? Do you know the statistics? I mean, statistics, it's like 99% of people that get into wholesaling quit within the first like couple months.
Yeah. And
I mean, been in a year, didn't see as much results until now. Yeah. So it's like, if I quit on month 10, I wouldn't be here. So it's just like, you have to keep going. If you keep going, you can't fail. I like that. You always say that.
Yep.
If you do not quit, you cannot fail. At some point, whether it takes 1 year or 50 years, you are going to achieve it. Yep. Just stay in the game. That's 100%. How you create. That's how you get lucky.
Yeah. No, it's amazing to see kind of how much you've grown from like literally, a year ago, right? Being on the phones, like, what's ARV? What's MAO, right? Like the basics, right? Because in a year, like, it seems long, but you can learn a lot.
You can.
Right. And you're an attestament to that. You started a year ago, and now $100,000 later. Yeah. Right. But it didn't happen until month 8 to 12. And like, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's one thing that's not spoken, right? Online, it's seen as, okay, get into the space, day 2, make $1 million.
Yeah, no, right? It's never happening.
Not fast like that. And that's why, if it were that easy,
everyone would be doing it. Everyone would do it.
Exactly. But I want to get into something in terms of some skill aspects that our audience can actually take up on. Because again, I said it earlier, okay, but I just really want everyone to know, like, how important it is to understand your numbers, but also to like what extent Cam is locking up these contracts, okay? Like those top guys you see on the internet, right? The big wholesale gurus, their team, if not themselves, are locking up one contract in every 17 to 25 leads, okay? So like what Cam is doing is like tremendously impressive. In terms of some sales specifics, is there anything different in your sales process or what you do to get $50,000 spreads versus, let's say, a $10,000 spread?
Yeah, actually, one thing that pops to my mind is all of us, I think we do a really good job of, and any good sales rep or wholesaler does a really good job of, is you have to find leverage. What do I mean by that? Is there's a reason the more time you spend on a phone with a seller, there's a reason why you have these scripts and things that you ask these people. You're asking their timeline, you're asking why they're looking to sell, you're asking their price, which we can pretty much work with them on a lot of things, but the price has to be, that's the whole point, is we have to lock them at a price that makes sense where, we can actually sell it and be profitable. But just find leverage. Why are they looking to sell? I mean, I've had people like say, hey, I'll cut the price down by $10,000 if you help me clean out just find anything that there is a value to the seller for that's not just money. That's our job on the phone, is to use what do you value outside of just the price? Because the price is the biggest thing that we need in order to close these deals and be profitable. What can you find about the seller that you can help with? Whether you have to work overtime to get this deal to close, whether you have to drive out there yourself to get it to close, whether you have to drive out there and pack up all her stuff for her to move. And that way, that's the only deal that's going to close, and that's how you get a lower price. Just find leverage. Find leverage and use that leverage against them. I don't want to, that sounds bad, but you have to, find things of value to them outside of price.
Yeah, you use it as value to guide them along the process.
Exactly.
Actually make it make sense. And like you were saying earlier, part of that process right there is what makes a seller take 20 grand less of your offer versus a higher offer, right? What are some things that you use, and not necessarily a tactic, but what are some implementations the audience can use to start gaining sellers' trust? Because the biggest thing in a call, like you were saying, is if the seller doesn't trust you, they're not going to go with you, even if you give them $1 trillion.
Literally.
Right? So what are some things you do to kind of have the seller trust you to an immense level?
Biggest thing is time. You have to spend time with them over the phone. If you spend 2 minutes with them, you don't expect to get a contract. So spend time with them over the phone. Again, kind of going back to what I said, is you have to be their best friend. You trust your best friend, don't you? So just kind of act like, I get on a call, I'm like, hey John, what's up, my man? How you doing? I know we spoke last week and wanted to check in with you. Have that good enthusiasm, energy, but just be be a likable guy. And be who they want to hear over the phone. If they want to hear someone that's I'm going to tell you how this is going to work. Some old woman, she's I don't really know. Okay, this is what's going to happen. This is our process, and this is what I'm going to do to make sure you're taken care of. If it's some big guy who's oh, well, and then you'd be okay, well, I can, just kind of mirror the seller and be that person that they want to hear over the phone. And you can kind of pick up on that the longer you get into it.
I like that. That's game right there for you guys watching. That's some high level stuff. Okay. I want to ask probably about 2 more questions before we kind of ramp things up here. If there was one piece of advice you had to tell someone, and only one, okay, to get to the level of success you've seen in 1 year while also being in college, if there was one thing you had to tell someone, okay, if everything else in the world burned today and nothing else mattered besides this one thing, what led to your success?
Good question. I think honestly is just setting goals for yourself. Having some sort of direction of where you want to go. Because my goal isn't to be, necessarily, it doesn't have to be specific to wholesaling. I could be in some other business, and it's about the freedom that we're all trying to achieve. We don't get in the business. We're not doing charity work here. We're trying to achieve financial freedom for our future families and for, and just be a better version of ourselves. So I think a lot of people go through life without any direction. They don't have a specific goal that they want to achieve. And if you don't have you can't get to point A to point B if you don't have a point B. So, you're just going to continue to float towards that goal if you just have that goal, write down your goals every single morning, become those goals, and just I would say just imprint those goals into you, because those are going to become a part of you, and you're just going to, life is going to keep going, and you're going to get closer to those goals. But if you don't set a goal, there's no destination.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And then the last thing is, if anyone is thinking, right, or someone's on the fence about JVing a deal, right, regardless of where it may be, whether it's their leads or deals, what type of advice would you tell them, considering your experience here?
Specifically for JVs?
Yeah.
I would say just look at the deal and kind of see hey, is this something that I can take on myself, or am I going to make more money if I have someone that's a lot better than me in the business that's going to turn this in from a 10K spread to a 30K spread? There's some tough deals that again, Cortez, I probably would not have closed that. It was like my first fifth deal, not closed, but just like locked up. Like I didn't really know the dispo process. So in like circumstances where it might not close without you, like reach out to people at JV. If you have a big pipeline and build up and you don't have a lot of time in the day, reach out. At least just talk with them, see what they can do, get your thoughts on it.
Yeah,
be like, hey, I have this deal. These are the numbers. What do you guys think? And then I feel like once they have a conversation with you, just reach out and,
Of course.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think? If someone's on the fence about JVing, what would you tell them?
What do you value more? Do you value like doing all the work yourself and trying to figure it out all yourself and making the mistakes? Or do you value learning more? Or like what season are you in? Are you in the season of like, I just care about money and only money? Or are you looking to be somebody that says, hey, I'm looking to actually absorb all the information, the knowledge, and become somebody that can just attract that money effortlessly, consistently? And that's what I believe the JV is. It's more so not of saying, oh, I can't do this. It's of saying, okay, here are people who already have everything built out. I'm going to give them X amount of portion so that they can do it and I can watch them do it. So that way I learn how to do it myself and even better than I would have. And on top of that, I'll make money. So essentially, I'd rather just make money learning than not make money and not learn. So just kind of up to you, right? Do you not want to make money and not want to learn? Or do you want to make money while learning and growing and becoming somebody better that actually runs a legitimate novation or wholesale business?
Facts.
I want to add something back if I can.
Of course,
when we were talking about the goals, is again just to show why it's so important to set goals, because again it's all what you want to achieve. You can be working like a part-time, full-time job and still wholesale and put in an hour or two a day and still make 100, 200, 300K a year. Like there's people doing that. They're doing
You're
wholesaling
doing it right now.
Part-time. Yeah.
You're in
I'm a little
college.
bit more
You're
than
going-
part-time, but like, yeah, know what you mean. But like you can put in like only 2 hours a day or, 20 hours a week and still make a very good amount of money wholesaling. It's just, what are your goals? I mean, I think all of us want to scale our companies to be making millions of dollars every month. So it's like, we're going to have to do certain things that are going to achieve that, whereas someone doing part-time, but it's not like you have to do what we're doing in wholesaling. You could very well do this part-time, put in a couple hours a day and make an extra 300 grand a year. Like there's people doing that out there.
Yeah.
So just set the goal of what do you want to achieve.
Yeah, 100%. Well, before we kind of close this out, is there anything else you want to, tell everyone starting out? Maybe they're in wholesaling, maybe they're in college and they're wanting to get into real estate. Anything else you want to tell them?
I would say you have to get in the right rooms. Constantly try to be in rooms you don't deserve to be in. Be around the people that are like-minded. And, this journey can feel a little lonely sometimes. I mean, we're like 5% of the world entrepreneurs. Like
not sometimes, all the time.
yeah, right? Like you're not, you almost feel like you're doing something wrong getting into the entrepreneurship space because it's like so far from what everyone around you is doing. So you just got to I think having the camaraderie, having people around you that are like-minded and doing what you're doing is going to propel you forward. But also just don't give up. Like just keep going. I think I knew we're gonna fail, we're gonna suffer, but I think that end goal of what we're trying to achieve is way worth it. We're just paying the price now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say get in the right rooms, be around good people, stay positive, set goals, and just don't give up. Be unstoppable.
Like that.
Wake up being like, I'm that dude. I'm that guy. Attack the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta bring that.
Yeah.
And that's gonna reflect in your team too.
100%. No, I liked it a lot. Anything you want to say?
He said it the best.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Wake up and get it.
Wake
Well
up
said.
and get it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, before we do end, okay, I do want to let everyone know out there, if you are listening, whether you have leads, you have deals that you think you need help with, that you can't do anything with, too remote, too high of a price point, too good of condition, any situation, okay, my team is here to help you monetize on those leads, okay? The website is jvdeals.org. When you send it over, my team will reach out to you first before they ever contact your leads, okay? We do all deals. We switch them all to novations. We handle everything for you. Why is this? Because we have this opportunity for you, just like Cam himself, for deals that you need help with and you can't monetize. We will do it for you and you'll get a large percentage of it, okay? So if you have any struggles, you need help with anything on your deals, jvdeals.org, okay? Anything you submit, right, you will get 40% for, okay? Whether it's a lead or a deal, you submit it, forget about it, you get 40% of anything we close. Other than that, that is it. Okay, so if you need help with anything, other than that, I'll leave all the links down below for free paperwork. Okay, anything about links about our websites, our company websites, and if you want to reach out to Cam, Josh, or me, myself for any questions, I'll make sure to leave all of our Instagram handles down below.
Yeah, look